It's juice bag.
Maybe I'll go higher on this one.
It's juice bag.
So it's juice. Let's just do a few like juice bags.
Juice bag.
I think we should do hip hop hype beast.
Okay.
Juice bag.
Noise.
Okay.
Hey! Wow. Guess what you're listening to today, folks?
Juice bag, juice bag, juice bag.
Juice bag.
Oh, could you not hear me?
No, I could.
Oh, Juice Bag, #1 podcast on the planet.
Yeah. On the planet, in the world we live on. Anywho, I am going to start it by introducing myself because I feel like you always remember. So I'm going to go first. Hi, everyone. My name's Jett.
And
I'm
Dakota.
28.
It's so janky when you open it.
I know.
I'm Dakota Jones.
And I'm Jett Jones.
Welcome to Juice Bag.
And we are both 28.
Oh, that's what you were getting at.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't.
Oh. You don't want to talk about my birthday?
We can.
How I'm 28 now?
We absolutely should.
We don't have to.
How is your bag of juice today, my 28-year-old man?
Oh my God. I don't know why I wasn't expecting this question. I think I'm good. Me good. Yeah.
It's funny. We normally give it a number.
Oh yeah.
Like waiting.
I zigged when I should have zagged. I am at a 9 out of 10.
Whoa!
I know.
Entering mode of goodness.
The mode of the Toad. You sounded like Toad from Mario.
I have been
I guess
told
that's
that.
Mario.
I've been told that more than once in my life. And I wasn't a Mario kid. Like, I don't really know
Oh my
those
God,
sounds.
that's our first t-shirt, Mode of the Toad. And Jett going,
Yeah, I literally have been told that many times in my life by various sources. So.
oh my God, that's so funny. I haven't told you that before, have I?
No,
I've
but-
heard that noise come out of you before.
Well, Toad is cute, right? He's the little mushroom head guy.
He's the little mushroom head guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Adorable.
that's Mario, I think, flying to his death off of a ice cliff. But anyway, yeah, I'm at a 9.
I love that for you.
I feel like my reason for being at a 9 is similar to yours. Do you want to give your number 2, or should I go into why I'm at a 9?
Yeah, I'll go. I am at, today.
I'm building it up and you haven't said anything.
I know.
Come on. God.
I was going to see how long you were going to do it. 9.2.
Oh, this bitch over here wants to outdo me on my birthday?
Consider yourself outdone by 0.2.
Oh my God. Consider me an 8.7.
Because of what I did to you?
Yes. +1.
Consider me 9.3.
We're being way too annoying. Why are you at a 9.2?
We did what we set out to do.
And that feels so good, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
And we almost didn't. And imagine the Jett and Dakota who would be sitting here at this moment in this day.
Hey guys,
Today. Yeah.
I'm eating a meat stick. I have my coffee.
And, you
but
know, it's still January and I'm hopeful.
I'm
but
Jett and I'm full of farts because I just keep eating bad food and I just am so sad all the time and I'm sitting at a 7 for some reason.
I'm going to kill you. Okay. Moving on from what Hot Dog Breath said.
Oh my God. We accomplished everything we wanted to do yesterday. We need to quit beating around the bush. We're very punchy today. If you can't tell, we're at 9s and
Yeah. So you have to deal with it.
Yeah. We had our big year-long meeting, which we were supposed to do 2 weeks ago. I realized after
It
our
wasn't
episode,
a year-long meeting.
Shut up. It's our... Wait, did I say year-long
You
meeting?
said a
I
year-long
take back
meeting.
my shut up. Our year planning meeting.
Yes.
Which I realized we were supposed to give an update on the last episode, and then I totally forgot about it. And then we did it this week, and it feels so good to have direction.
Well, no, we left off the last episode saying we were going to update everybody today on how it went.
Oh.
That's what happened.
Well, then we're right on track.
I know.
Look at us. Ooh. I think I'm feeling a 9.1.
Whoa!
Blowing up people's eardrums.
This has to be a tradition
I
now.
hope you're not driving. Good job, man. I have meth. I have meth in my car.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Dakota and I are high on life because...
Yeah, we're being ridiculous. Who even wants to listen to this?
Yeah, because we had... on Sunday, we started by trying to have our big year planning meeting to decide how our lives were going to go and what our goals were. We ended up just planning a trip to New York and having a budget meeting, and we didn't even touch goals for the year.
Yeah. A little underwhelming, but
Yes.
still productive.
I would have rated my juice bag that day probably a 6.5.
I would still be at a 7. I was in a good mood, but I was annoyed at how long it was taking to plan a trip that's
Yeah.
like an hour away.
Yeah.
But whatever.
But we got there. So anyway, Sunday was disappointing because we had all these lofty goals, and there's a bug going around in the house because my mom got sick and she's staying with us. And so the bug is in the air, and you had to take a nap that day, and we were all overall just kind of crotchety because of our juice bags being infected by a virus.
Yep.
But Monday was a new day, and Monday was yesterday, and we did not let not getting it done on Sunday ruin our day on Monday, because instead of going out to a movie, we typically...
Like we always do.
Yes,
Movie Mondays
We do
are a
movie
Jones
Mondays.
thing, but
we decided to swang over. We were literally, Dakota and I were like, let's go to the movies. My mom has a cold still, so she was staying home. So Dakota and I hopped in the car.
and don't say the coffee shop. Gatekeep that shit.
We're gatekeeping it.
Okay.
And we were literally on our way to a movie that we had picked. We knew what time it started. We were on the way, and we started talking about how we were kind of bummed that our Sunday we didn't finish what we wanted to talk about. And instead of going to the movie, we went and pulled right into the Dollar Tree parking lot, bought a $1 notebook and $1 pen, and then
$18 lattes.
yes,
No, not really. I think we got Americanos.
Yeah.
They're still like $8 though.
well, for two,
It's a nice place.
I mean, yeah. So we got coffee, and we began speaking about long-term life goals, and then worked our way backwards
Yeah.
to make some short-term goals.
Well, we didn't talk about life goals. I feel like we actually made it more fun, which is that we individually wrote down what the ideal 60-year-old Dakota and 60-year-old Jett look like in our eyes. And so we got to write down the attributes we wanted to, not attributes we wanted to have, but like things that we wanted, houses, friends, communities.
Can I cut in? So
Oh, go ahead.
something that we had noticed recently, I think it was actually during one of our episodes, was that Dakota and I had never described what being older looked like
Yeah.
in our own mind's eye to the other person. Like we both had kind of a hazy like daydream on what our future looked like, and we had realized we had never, just because, I mean, it seemed kind of like a hazy daydream that you don't really just speak out loud unprovoked. And we had noticed that we hadn't. So I think that's kind of what brought to light for me, like, oh my gosh, like we have been mainly talking about our short-term, long-term goals, like within
Yeah.
the next 3 to 5 years,
Yeah.
which is great. But I think we've heard a lot of marriages end, you know, when people get in their 40s and 50s and 60s because they haven't, you know, ever told their partner what they truly wanted.
Yeah, where the end of the road is. And we've always known that we've aligned on it, but like it never quite clicked to us until we had this conversation of like, you know, if we are going to put all this effort into these year goals that we always do, and I feel like even then people always say that we have a lot of foresight and stuff, but I'm like, if we put even more intention into it to define a very clear path to like retirement age, we can so much more easily and so much more effectively set up goals that are aligned with our forever
With
goals.
getting there. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that way you don't throw all this momentum in different directions every year because of like paths that you see or like alternative directions you could go to or all these other things that you think are important in the moment. And they probably are, but those things are going to happen naturally. And so now we came up with this ideal 60-year-old Dakota and Jett life, and anything that's not involved in that, at least for like big year goals, we don't even have to consider anymore. It's kind of freeing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just daydreaming about how awesome it was. So we both took a moment. We both got a sheet of paper, and without talking to each other first, we both just brain dumped onto a page the things Dakota was listing out before. Like,
Yeah, it's way better to preface all this. I was just getting right into what we were writing down, but that was the reason why we did it.
yeah.
Keep going.
So we wrote down we could write down whatever we want because it was our own mind's picture of what we wanted.
And then we were going to compare notes and come up with an ideal life. Exactly.
And so we actually so happened to write down probably like 85% the same exact answer for most things, which was a relief. Which
It was like plus or minus a few kids, plus or minus a few workout classes or something
well,
like that.
not even that. I mean, we were dead on about kids. We were dead on about housing. We were dead on about, a lot of the bigger goals. It was just some things like we hadn't thought about our pet situation or just some of the kind of smaller what would you call it? Like deal breaker thoughts.
Yeah.
Or we had independent thoughts. Like you had some personal goals for you as a person, like piano lessons that have nothing to do with me.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, maybe I misunderstood the assignment, but I was like, ideal Dakota knows how to cook and play the piano.
No, that's great. I should have probably put a little bit more thought into what my
Which you
individual
were
ones.
delighted by the way. You've mentioned a few times that you find it so funny that I don't know how to cook.
Yes. Like I forget how spoiled you are, honestly.
I am spoiled. I'm a trophy husband.
You are a trophy husband.
But also, you can't hear if your engine is on fire.
That's true.
And
I'm not
that a
saying you
sink
don't have
was
your
leaking
strengths.
for like 2 years. The last 2 weeks ago, my sink was leaking all day. There was a faucet running in the basement at full blast with the hot water going full blast in the basement. Everyone heard it and nobody did anything about it, and it almost broke our water heater. I wasn't home, but Jett was working from home. She's like, "Oh, I thought that sounded weird. And there was no hot water today." And I was like, "Well, what'd you do about it?" You're like, "Oh, nothing."
I wouldn't have. Like, seriously?
Not that you wouldn't have. You didn't.
I know.
You didn't do
I
anything.
didn't. I kid you not, if I wasn't married, I would have to live in an apartment. Like, honestly, I would have to be that person because my mind does not work that way. I'm just like, I am the like spirit that fills the room, and everything beyond the bounds of the walls I can see don't exist to me. They are not real. They are not in this universe.
Yes. But to be fair, if I didn't have you, I would be 800 pounds. A little bit happier because of all the pasta I'd be eating. But I would be so unhealthy because I would just eat Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, you
all
probably
day.
still wouldn't know how to cook.
No, probably not then either.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we came up with these ideal lives for our 60-year-old selves. And then from there, we compared notes, figured out that we were like 85% aligned. And then we started working through each individual phase, which I think we had like 10 things that we had written down that were like, these are for sure 100% things
Like
that we
what
want
we're
to commit to.
striving for. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we started talking about ways that we can reach that. And it was kind of like a 3-year and a 5-year plan. But then it's like, well, this year, we need to set up stuff that is achievable, but in line with those goals this year. And then we came up with our little year goal sheet.
Yeah, which you had contributed this idea for our bingo card.
Oh.
Where
Ooh.
did that thought come from? Did you see something on it?
I actually saw it from a friend on Instagram. It was an old friend from my Breakfast Club days, oddly enough, but she always posts fun things and I follow her stories. And so she had posted about a year goal bingo card, which it's funny because I've been hearing the word bingo card a lot lately. I think it's like kind of becoming a trend or something.
It's a meme. It's like, at least I think, maybe the premise of bingo card.
Yeah, we're not on TikTok anymore, folks. So like, I don't know.
Well, you're on TikTok.
Only to post
Juice
things.
Bag is
I'm
about to
not
be on
watching that
TikTok.
shit. That's true.
So stay
That's
tuned
true.
for that.
Yeah.
But it was like, I don't know, the insurrection of the White House. They would say that wasn't on my 2023 bucket or
so it turned
bingo
into a
card.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So it was kind of like in the zeitgeist, but then I guess I'm not claiming any originality. I just saw it on Instagram and told Jett about it. But we came up with basically a 5x5 grid of goals that were in line with 60-year-old Dakota Jett, and we decided that every time we get a bingo, we get a little treaty sweetie.
Little reward, yeah.
Yeah.
And if our calculations are correct, that gives us 11 bingos and 1 full blackout.
Mm-hmm.
And so we assigned ourselves little treaties or little rewards that progressively get better the more bingos we get. And of course, the blackout, we promised ourselves a very lavish spa day. Which sounds
so
I know.
bad.
That sounds so basically we're gamifying our whole life for the
Yeah,
year.
dude. I mean, I find it very romantic in a sense. Like, it makes life more fun.
I was
it
actually
makes me
thinking-
more motivated to do that stuff.
Me too, because I'm competitive and I'm like, I want to get more bingo things knocked off. Like with some of the things
Yeah.
we can tackle independently.
Exactly.
You know?
It makes it approachable too, because it's like if you have free time and you're
You
like,
can
I
attack
should
any of
be
them.
doing something, but instead you play video games or scroll on your phone. It's like, let me go knock one of those things out, because if I get to level 1, I get froyo. You know, I'm excited about all the gifts that we put on there, and like froyo's number
Yeah.
1. Stoked for that shit. I'm gonna be racing for it.
I'm a stack up gummy worms on my Dole Whip. I'm a Dole Whip, more gummy worms. I'm
Okay.
a Dole.
Okay. Pop off, queen. I
Yeah.
have been known to partake in a mud cup every now and then.
Actually, the other day, Dakota's juice bag was so effed up. The only thing that brought him joy was when I said, "Do you want to go get froyo?"
Yeah, I was in a pissy mood that
He came
day.
back live. You want to know why you were in a pissy mood?
No.
Because you were about to get sick.
Juice bags really are horrible people. Like, I seriously, I didn't even know why I was acting that way, and then I realized, I think I was just getting a little sick.
Yep.
But we got
But-
zinc in the house now, and we've been feeling good.
Zinc in the house.
Weird today.
Anyway.
Do you want to go over some of our goals,
Some of
or
our
should
goals?
we talk about like
Yeah, how about the fun
what
ones?
ones we're most excited about?
Yeah, we
And then
can.
we can go over those quickly, but then I want to talk about 60-year-old me and you. It's just kind of like a accountability for the record type of thing.
For the record.
Well, yeah, for the record, so that we can record it for our future children, so that they know that we went into this shit with intention.
Cool. Okay, we have some on here that are kind of private, not very many, so I'll just list off the ones that seem not
Is the one about getting that thing out of your butt, Emily?
I'm gonna kill you.
What?
No, it's the thing about your big sticky gross thing that's hanging off.
That sticky gross thing?
Okay.
Are you talking about Vito?
I'm talking about you. Okay. We are gonna go surfing. We have some like backyard renovations to do that are
We have a
honestly
lot of backyard
they're
renovations
just
to do.
elbow grease. So we just need to get our heinies out there and start working. So we have like 3 related to like making the backyard better, with the intention that, you know, getting closer to some of our 60-year-old goals is building equity in our home. So just making sure that it's staying ship shape in all ways, but also we're improving it.
Yeah, 60-year goals. You said 6-year goals.
Oh,
Yep.
60-year goals.
Yep. But we do need to be improving it so that we can, everyone wants a nicer house, so we're just hoping to build up that equity. And houses are great assets for that. That's all that means.
Yep. One endeavor we entered into upon moving into this house is we rewired the entire thing from knob and tube to fresh new wire, which put us in significant debt.
Yeah. We won't get into exact amount, but you can imagine it was a lot.
It's in the tens.
It's in the north of some cars, let's just say. Yeah.
So anyway, we're on a super fast track. Like, it's something that had to be done for the house.
It did have to be done. And we are like literally throwing like, dare I say, 15% of our income at it.
Yeah,
Every
every month.
Insane.
So the goal is this year that amount should be paid off by the end of the year. We want to get involved in our community by going to like a what is it called? City
Council meeting.
council meeting, just to kind of see what's the up and up and see if we can contribute some
and up.
insights. That being said, one of our 60-year goals is to be pillars of our community. So
Well, we'll talk about the 60-year us.
okay,
But
so I'll
this
just
is just
list
like a
them.
precursor for the year.
Yep.
And then we'll talk about why these are here.
okay, and then we're gonna get rid of my old car, the Honda. We're gonna start our LLC. We're going to find a tax person who can handle our taxes, but also potentially business taxes and things like that.
I feel like everyone should put that on their 2024 thing too. It's like every time I do taxes, it's like I just know I'm doing something wrong or I'm not taking advantage of something.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry.
We want to run a half marathon.
Yep.
13 miles, I believe. We want to register our Subaru.
Why are you putting this on the waves?
On the what?
On the airwaves for the
Oh.
public and the police to hear about.
We did not know. We did not know you had to register a vehicle.
No, we didn't.
This is true.
Well,
anyway,
the problem with Pennsylvania is that not only do you have to register the vehicle, but to register the vehicle, it also has to be inspected to have like all this arbitrary bullshit that you
Yeah.
need to have like in tip-top shape.
yep. So anyway, safe to say, we have
Never done that.
wink, wink, forgotten to do that since we've moved here and we've been here a year and a half. So we need to stop riding dirty and we need to get our car registered. Anyway, I have...
That's not in line with 60-year-old Dakota. That's just something we have
that's
to do.
just something we have to do. There had to be some
There had to
housekeeping
be some
items.
softballs on there, you know?
It's just something we put off, so it had to be on here. Anyway, okay, and we want to get Juice Bag on YouTube, and we want to get Juice Bag also on TikTok.
Yeah.
So we want to promote this podcast and get it out to more ears, so people can hear Dakota say cringe things. It's fine.
It's exhausting being me.
Dakota this
Yeah.
year should make his first dollar in architecture.
Yep.
So he's going to be licensed. So
All these years practicing architecture, I've never made $1.
well, as an independent.
Oh, yeah,
Person.
as an independent, yeah.
I almost said a private one.
Oh.
La la la.
I'm going to get licensed.
Yes.
It's a big one.
Licensed. We are going to go to the Philly Comic-Con.
Yeah. Woo, woo, woo.
I'm going to go to we are going to go to an EDM concert.
We have to decide on who. If anyone has recommendations, let us know.
Well, within probably less than a 3-hour drive of where we live.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd go to New York though.
No.
Okay. Oh, here's a fun one. We want to cook good sushi.
Yeah.
So that's
one I'm excited
yes,
about.
there's kind of two parts to this. First part, Jett doesn't like sushi
Mm-hmm.
at all. And it's probably because of the seaweed, and she has been landlocked her whole life,
Yep.
and fish is stinky.
Neither of us like fish.
Yeah,
It's very hard for us to
it's
like.
hard, like I do. I've had good fish, but it's rare, and then I get the fish ick.
Manifest.
So cook good sushi means we want to make it at home so we get more comfortable with it, so we're not wasting our money going out to delicious places and not liking the sushi, and learning how to make it the way we like it and also edible and delicious for us. Another fun one, a couple travel related ones are we're going to go to Scotland this
Yeah.
year.
Yep.
We're going to go to Milwaukee and Chicago in one trip.
Exciting.
That's kind of a potential house hunty trip.
Not
Maybe.
potentially, that is a house hunty trip.
Yeah, like not house hunt, but more like feel out the vibes for could we move here type place. Dakota gets licensed. We already talked about. Oh, I am going to build a website and brand for our architecture business, the LLC. Yeah, and then just save a bunch of money. So outside of paying down debt, save as much money as we can.
Super easy.
Super easy.
We can totally black that card out. We can do it.
After reading it again, it seems a little bit more approachable, but some also feel
Impossible.
impossible.
Yeah.
But that's
I
how
mean,
it's supposed to be.
That is how it's supposed to be. And it's going to feel really good if we get that blackout. But like, we have some personal accountability stuff
Yes.
on there. Like we have some individual ones and then some joint ones that we have to do. And both are hard.
We should like front load our year. I'm talking.
No, I fully intend to.
We should call them bingo night, where we just go work on things towards our bingo
That's
cards.
fine. If you want to work on the website or the logo or the branding or whatever while I'm studying, like you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Interesting.
Now, so we went over all this stuff. You can tell that we're unhinged and we have lofty goals, except for the surfing one. That one's pretty approachable.
Caffeine running through our veins.
Do we want to talk about like and manifest what 60-year-old Jett and Dakota want?
Yeah.
Okay. The first thing that Dakota wants to be is a man who is way less crass and doesn't say cringy things on podcasts because he feels really bad about it after the fact.
It's fine.
I know. I wish I could apologize to myself. Anyway.
Apologize to yourself?
Yeah, for being horrible to me.
For being a dingleberry?
For being a dingleberry. Anyway, let's talk about 60-year-old Dakota and Jett. Let's manifest this ish. What do you want 60-year-old Jett to be, look like, do, and want?
Yeah, I kind of want to be a just like natural mom, like a granola mom, I guess. I want to let my curly hair be itself and just be myself and age gracefully, but also dress in really pretty clothes. And I want my house to be beautiful. And the other B word. I just want to be surrounded by beauty first and foremost. That's like so important to me that I just love my spaces to be beautiful.
Yeah.
And yeah, just well curated and very intentional and minimalist-ish.
Do you remember what like your first 3 were that you wrote down?
Well, that was one of them, honestly, because
Surrounded by beauty. I remember you put that.
yes, which is like I guess I feel insecure saying that as like my first one, but to me it bleeds into everything. Like
I don't
beauty
think it
can't
does.
exist in chaos.
Yeah.
Beauty can't exist in like disorder and sadness and like so
that's subjective, but it's an all-encompassing thing is what you're trying to say. Yeah.
It's like a feeling, you know. But I said I want 3 to 4 kids because I was scared to put 4. So, yeah.
What else?
I put that I want 2 to 3 really nice cars. I'm
What
not
kind of
saying
cars?
these in any particular order, by the way. I'm just doing them as I remember them. I would love vintage cars that are fixed up either into electric vehicles or like a really nice daily driver, just like a Toyota.
Uh-huh.
Like a new to us Toyota, something or other.
Yeah. I remember one of your other top ones was like you want to live really close, like within walking distance of a grocery store.
Yes.
Which I thought was so interesting.
Yeah. To me, cooking at home, feeding your family, feeding yourself fresh ingredients and not letting them like go bad in your fridge. Like I love the idea that I could have a grocery store be my refrigerator for me and just be able to walk there in 5 minutes and grab something like one onion and come back and it's like totally casual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which in theory I could kind of do that now from where we live, but I envision it being a really...
We should start trying to do that because like you never regret a walk. You know what I mean?
Well, the only hard part about that is we shop a week's worth at a time.
Yeah.
And
that's
I'm
true.
not going to lug back 6 grocery bags of groceries back home.
I understand. That's fine.
But someday I would like to be at the point where a leisurely grocery trip once or twice a week makes sense in my life and also is approachable from where we live. And to me, that also gives a nod to like how rural or not we'll be living or like from a city center. To me, it means like we have to live pretty close to being in town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was kind of tied to that. I think I just want to have one pet. 1 dog.
Yeah, I
That's
think
it.
I feel the same. 1 dog, 4 kids.
Yeah. Well, a big one is, did we say already? We want to live in a custom built by us home.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's obvious with me and my background and stuff.
Yeah.
But we did mention that you wanted a beautiful house, I think is the way you put it. But it's been a dream of mine forever to build us our dream house. And I would love to make it a little bit wider just for age and place reasons, you know, ADA accessible and stuff in case you need to push my old ass in a wheelchair around the place.
Yep. But that's kind of it. I mean, I just envision myself at 60. I imagine myself having an empty nest. Kids are moved out and we are just happily living in a beautiful home. But the big kind of emotional ones are, I want to be pillars of our community.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I want to be a resource in the community for anybody who needs one. But also just like a welcome and known face by others about like just a resource
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
But also someone who like speaks up. Like I just want to be immersed in my community in an active way to seek change that I would love to see in my communities. And then another one is being a like host family house. Like just like I envision our house being the house that's the hostess with the mostest. Like just creating spaces that are so inviting, it just calls all people there to either visit, whether it's family or friends or our kids' friends or their spouses. I just want a place that we are so anchored to and that people are called to go to because we are there, but also because the space is driving them to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what was the last one I had? Oh, well, I would like to have had a successful business. And
That was a big one.
yeah, and then have that business taper off to passive income where we become maybe historical figureheads, I suppose, of the company, but not running the ship, like passing it along to...
Yeah, lowering the stress and, entering retirement kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or selling off whatever product, whatever it is, just like taking a back seat to working and actually retiring to then carry on. But I don't know what happens after 60.
After 60, we freaking enjoy all the stuff we have, right?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We'll have to, once we turn 50 or something, we need to start dreaming up what 80 looks like, So those were kind of the big ones.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of overlap with those too. So do you want to kind of paint your picture?
Yeah. 60-year-old Dakota, I think the first few things I wrote was that I wanted to be currently dropped in by family and friends, which I thought you seemed like delighted by that when I said that. I mentioned that like I wanted my doorbell to break just by how often it was being used for people stopping by. And to your point about like the being surrounded by beauty, like I consider that friends and family and my house and my garden and my pets and all this stuff. And
we missed having long-term friends. Like
long-term friends,
yeah.
really important. Yeah, really healthy, long-term, genuine friendships of people who just don't mind stopping by, and we don't mind stopping by at their house and stuff, but just making a home full of love. Like always show ready, always organized, always has its stuff in its place. Everyone has their chair. Like just a nice third place for everybody who needs it. And that's like my effing dream as an architect, honestly. But then other things I wanted to do was I definitely want to have like a workspace. I don't think I really put that too much, but like a little garage workspace area, as well as like maybe a little home office thing. That was really important. And then I also want vintage cars. I thought it was funny that we both put vintage cars down there. I would really like an electric vintage car. I think that'd be sick. I actually don't mind working into my 60s as far as like my full-time job. I would still be okay running and managing stuff if need be, but honestly too, if I was like able to retire, I would probably just do that.
My thinking is, just as a young person now, is that it is our duty as old people to retire.
You know
what I mean?
That's fair enough.
Because it's like, let the young people do their thing and stop. Just because you have the money and the power, just like take a back seat and let the new generation do what they're doing and make improvements upon it. That's what I envision, is like passing whatever business or company we have down to people who are responsible and amazing, but have a vision for it that we just never would be able to conceive.
I love that. I will concede my formal point, and we should add it to the list as like the goal thing of.
But yeah, I'm sure we'll be involved to some capacity. I just don't imagine it will be a level of full time. It might be, but anyway.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, I think Jett went over basically everything, but I just want to be a pillar of my community. I want to be able to entertain, being like able to play piano and be able to cook for people when they need to, have my kids' friends over and stuff if they want to play like D&D sessions, things like that. But I just want to chill out. I feel like the first 20 years of my life have been so stressful, like those retirement years. I really want everything to just be figured out, put in its place, situated,
Anchored
and anchored.
is the word I keep coming back to. Just
I like that.
anchored for, especially because at that point we'll have adult children and they're likely going to have significant others and partners who we'd want to welcome with open arms to our home.
Yeah.
And so just making it as inviting as possible and anchored for them to, no matter where our kids end up in the world, they know they can come back to a safe place, you know?
Yeah. Did you, when we were doing this exercise, did you recognize anything that you didn't put on the sheet and kind of was like, oh, kind of a relief. I don't have to think about that anymore.
I guess not really. I can't think of anything.
Oh.
Well, what did you, maybe if you give me an
help
idea.
jog your memory, and I'm not saying that you have to have one. I was just curious. But for me, an obvious one was like, I have this pressure that I've always put on myself. And I feel like a lot of designers and people in the architecture field can maybe relate to this. But like, there's this like savior complex imparted on us about like sustainability and like healing the world and doing all this altruistic stuff. And that's something I still take very seriously. And I want to be able to design sustainable things and do stuff responsibly. But I didn't have written down like build a sustainable empire or like fight the good fight against like oppression of like, you know, all this stuff. And it was like all these like really heavy things that I had been weighing myself down with was like, it didn't make it onto the page of like what, and maybe that's just my own internal like angst and things of me thinking / overthinking things. And I was relieved to see that it wasn't on there. And I was like, huh, I can kind of maybe let that rest of like just constantly feeling guilty that I'm not doing more to like build only green and do like all this stuff. It's like, I can slow down and understand that it's okay. You know?
Yeah, that's fascinating. I definitely don't have anything like that
Really?
at all. No.
Huh.
I don't think I live with those thoughts.
Oh, bummer.
I'm sorry that, I mean.
No. I mean, that's good. You don't have to apologize.
No,
Like,
I remember those feelings that you're talking about. And
Yeah.
honestly, your degree was very toxic. Like the way that they teach young architects to believe about architecture, I think is genuinely very toxic and, like you said, altruistic, but in a way that just doesn't align with reality. The reality is architects are few and far between. People don't even really think of them anymore for their design needs because they either use contractors or they
just go with the cheapest option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time architects do need to chase where the money is because the people with the money are the ones who make the projects.
Yeah.
And can afford an architect and want an architect.
Yeah.
So I think there's some realities that come with it that I'm glad maybe you don't feel the pressures as much to like seek out. Because I mean, it almost sounds like, I mean, in college it was the same thing. Like I studied art and fashion and design, and it was always preached to us like, never be cliche and always be genuine and always, you know, be that starving artist who creates just to create because that's what life is worth living for. It's
Yeah.
like, yes, but I was born into capitalism. And unless I'm going to flee the country, like it's just
No,
what
I
it
know.
is. And not in a dark way, in a, I'm going to use all those beautiful concepts that they're attempting to push
Yeah.
in ways that are responsible for my own life.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I know that I hold myself to a higher level of like accountability and stuff. And I'm already going to impart those things on stuff I do. And I felt like I finally trusted myself that I have intentions to actually start pursuing things. Because I know deep down, I'm not really capable, honestly, of doing things that I would find unethical. I couldn't sleep at night if I did.
Yeah.
And so it was really nice to be like, I don't need to like start a rebellion to be satisfied in my 60s. I just need to know that I did my best. And I know that I do my best fucking every day.
Yeah. And this clip will go viral in 20 years when you've built the new Guantanamo Bay.
that's not going to age well. I was just writing down plans for
Guantanamo Bay 2. Bum, bum, bum.
This has been kind of a funny joke that we keep making because I was reading the ethics of architects because I have to like get licensed by a board or whatever. And they said that I'll lose my license if I design anything unethical, including areas for torture.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it's come up like 3 times
Like,
in
okay,
conversation this
I'm not
week.
going to
Like,
build a torture
oh,
box.
fine. I won't.
Yeah.
No BDSM dungeons for me.
Yeah. Darn.
Anyway, I felt like it was a really fun exercise. It was fun to do with you. I felt like it was very energizing. And like you got to have good vibes and good intentions going into it.
I think we talked about this in our last episode a little bit where I had my hot takes about therapy or whatever, about how our generation or whatever you want to call it, like our cohort of folks in their, early to late 20s are overthinking everything. And I kind of see what you're saying now about like overthinking your career path that you chose and realizing when it came down to it that the ethical concepts and the morality behind what was preached to you doesn't necessarily form what your life becomes. Yeah. So in the same way, it's like doing this exercise really sloughed off some of the honestly excuses I've been using to put off really big decisions like having kids or just committing to a direction in life, because honestly it seems more intelligent to debate things like, something that I was using for a few months just last year was AI. Like I was telling you that I was so freaked out by AI that I didn't want to have kids, maybe because of what AI might do to our world or whatever. Yeah. And that was my way of over intellectualizing and
letting fear run your life.
Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, I know for a fact, I just do not have the capacity to understand where and how AI will evolve and what effects it will have on the world. And it's not my responsibility to know that and use that as a factor to decide if I have kids or not. Yeah. Same thing with like global warming. That's another reason why I've been freaked out to like have kids, is this idea that, well, if our country goes underwater, is that ethical to like bring kids into the world?
I sympathize with that. Yeah.
And the fact is, we don't know what's going to happen. We believe in climate change in this house, but we also don't know what will unfold or not, when and if that does happen in our children's lifetime.
I know. I know. And I agree the same. I agree completely. And I feel very similarly because I did hold a lot of pressure and stuff over myself about those things. And
because if those were that important to us, it probably would have come up in our 60-year goals, which is like, make sure we're carbon neutral in every, you know what I mean? Like
I did write Passive House.
You did. You did,
write Passive
which
House.
is an effort towards that, but that's not going to stop global warming in its tracks.
I know.
And so, because it's not on our 60-year list to cure global warming and to stop AI from progressing and kill all the robots.
I can finally stop my daydreaming of becoming the president and inciting a bill of like, greenwashing everything, blah, blah, blah. But I totally know what you mean.
Because, I honestly think that our generation of folks, and we're guilty of it. I guess I won't cast that on anybody else.
I think it's that's my hot take, is that like I feel like we are the generation of knowing too much, and that is what my hot take is, that college sucks in the sense
we know too much.
Yes, I feel like I've learned too much, and I make too much connections to too many things that don't even relate, and I'm worried about all the things all the time, and I feel like it's killing me.
Yes, and now with clear minds and clear heads, clearer, we have set out a trajectory for our old age. Young age, 60 isn't that bad. And at least now we have a path where we're not just getting caught up in dumb stuff.
Yeah. We're on a path to help ourselves and everybody we can, but not worry about everyone that we can't.
Exactly.
Which is
It's hard to do.
It's weirdly hard for me to even say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
It doesn't mean we don't care.
No, I know. I feel like it'd be ridiculous to say to myself that I don't care. I know how much I care. It's just, it's hard. That's
I'm
really
curious.
hard to say.
I mean, I would love to hear people out there who relate. I feel like couples these days are honestly waiting. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of couples who have been like us, who have basically said they don't want kids because of these reasons.
Yeah.
But I think the reality is they actually really want kids. And I know
Yeah.
a lot of people who would love to become parents who just don't let themselves get there mentally because of how many fears they've built up in their mind due to their education, due to what they see on social media, due to what they hear going on in the world. And although I understand entirely, it's also not a basis. Take the information as you will. But if you don't comprehend it fully and know how it's going to affect everything,
Exactly.
which you can't.
Yeah. Quit torturing yourself with all of these things that could be or might be. It's like, think about it. What if? What if it all works out?
Exactly. Or what
we
if
all, like, everyone in our generation is so nice and we all have such good intentions and we all like want to help each other. We have all kinds of social medias and stuff that we're like constantly building communities. Like, we're not going to do evil, or at least we don't intend to. The vast majority of us.
I feel like we can figure it out. Our generation can figure it out.
God, I hope so.
Yeah.
I know I know I'm going to try.
Me too.
Yeah. Anyway, seems like a good spot to end this segment of the podcast. Do you want to take a breaky, pakey, and then come back for questions?
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, see you in a moment. Sorry to interrupt this week's episode, folks, but we'd like to remind you that if you enjoy what you're listening to please consider subscribing and sharing our podcast. Also, don't forget to leave us a review on all major podcast platforms.
We're about to roll into our Q&A portion of the episode, so if you'd like to be featured next time, hop over to Instagram and submit your question to us at JuiceBagPod. Now let's get back to it. Welcome back!
Why'd you hit that one with such heat?
Resonance, baby. The room has a slight echo. I wanted to regain my energy because we got a little cozy during our break.
You woke
and
me
I
up.
felt like screaming a little bit.
I liked it.
Thanks.
Can I tell a quick story
Yeah?
about something that annoyed me during the break?
Oh no. Was it about me?
It's not about you.
Okay.
I recently re-downloaded TikTok, which we talked about, just so I could start posting or whatever. But I scrolled, like, it took me 3 scrolls to find a video that made me, like, quit TikTok the first time. Because these videos are just insane. Listen to this. So this is you can look at it. It's just like a screenshot of somebody walking, not a screenshot, like a video of somebody walking with a caption over it that says, "My therapist told me that people who are not able to sleep without background noise, such as a TV or fan, is a trauma response to abandonment issues, and the noise tricks your brain into thinking that you aren't falling asleep alone. If you can relate, maybe this account for you." And the account's name is 100 Tips for Anxiety Relief. 2.4 million likes.
Oh my God.
And I looked through the comments and they were not like, "That's bullshit." It was like, "Totally can relate. Oh my God, absolutely. Somebody who finally understands me." I'm like, dude, what? Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy.
TikTok is a trauma in itself,
yes.
dude. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yes. Yes.
I cannot believe there are 2 million people out there who are liking that. That is bonkers to me.
Well, first of all, for some context, Dakota is feeling called out because we use brown noise every single night religiously in our bedroom.
Wait, I was abused.
You were abandoned.
And I was abandoned. No, it's because I don't want to hear my goddamn cats fight all night.
Well, no, more like street noise and or sirens and stuff. It just it drowns out some of the city noise out here. But
and guess what? Some of the best naps I've ever had have been falling asleep to TV.
Yeah.
Like, sue me.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just bananas that like that is so rampant on there. And this is, I feel like we always have at least one hot take on there. And I don't think it's a hot take to say that TikTok is brain rotting America specifically, but like that's insane to just like within 3 swipes have that marketed to me.
Here's what I need to say
right?
to summarize this. If you find that you are scrolling on any of these short form content sites or even long form to look for reasons on why you are messed up in some kind of way, first of all, you're going to find it.
Yes.
You're going to find a laundry list of things that seem to be wrong with you, when in reality, so many things are just little blip human experiences that mean nothing more than you are a cluster of cells on a giant space rock.
And that's why you're
trying to
listening to
exist.
Juice Bag, baby.
Yeah. It's going to be okay.
It's seriously going to be
And
okay.
just because you listen to some white noise or brown noise or whatever noise while you sleep doesn't mean you have abandonment issues.
I almost want to read another one. Maybe next week I will, from that stupid account of just like how ridiculous
Did you
it
follow
is.
them?
No. Why
Well,
would I follow them?
Then how do you know where the stupid account will be?
Because I have the name of the account. I just read the name of the account.
What's the name of the account?
100 something
See?
Jones? 100 tips for anxiety relief. And then it's
Go to
cover
the
photo.
page.
It's just a picture
Give
of
me
a guy.
one other one on the page. See if it's a theme of
Hang on.
ridiculousness.
We're doing this in real time.
Oh, because I didn't realize
No,
you
it
had
was
a screenshot of
It
it.
was a screenshot. 100 tips
For anxiety.
for anxiety. Doing this one hand. I'm very bad. Users. Top guy. Here's another pinned one. POV, you started spraying magnesium on your feet daily, and you suddenly don't crave sugar or salty foods. You don't have energy crashes around 3 p.m. anymore. Your anxiety is going away. Your bloating is going down, and you have more energy throughout the day.
Wow.
It's to sell shit, dude.
Yeah.
Hashtag TikTok shop. Hashtag
Are you kidding?
die.
Are
Yes.
you kidding?
No, I'm not
TikTok
kidding you.
shop?
Yes, this guy built up a following of... I'm calling out this guy in particular. He built up a following of 500,000 people so he could sell magnesium foot spray.
That's not snake oil at all.
Bro, can you relate? Maybe this is for you. Put this weird goo on your feet. Like, what the... Anyway,
do you
completely
have...
off topic.
Thank
Yeah.
you for bringing that up. I think that's a great thing
it's
to
just a little
shine some light
PSA
on.
for the folks.
Yep.
PSA for the folks. Okay. Question. Do you want me to go first?
Go first, because I only have one.
Okay. Mine's a fun one.
Okay.
My first one is,
Bring
okay. Folks, for those who have been in 7+ year relationships, what is something that your man or woman does that turns you on every time?
Every time?
Every time. Asking for a friend.
Oh.
For you, Jett Jones, specifically.
Please
be specific.
Like sexually?
Just turned on. Interested in
Just-
me.
okay.
We don't have to get
Fascinating.
rated R.
Oh, that's why I was like, I don't know about that.
Basically nothing.
Oh, do you have one? Can you go first and then I'll think?
Absolutely not.
What? I feel on the spot.
You can't shoot from the hip? Have you never been turned on in your life? Am I just now hearing about
Well,
this?
no, I feel like I would have something specific, but I just, it's been so long.
I can go first if you want.
Okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
let me think about it. Oh, wait, I know. Anything! If you look at me the right way and blink your beautiful little flappy eyelashes at me, it's like a wave of pheromones hits me right in the nostrils, and I'm like,
But do you have a real one?
no. It's honestly like, I feel like the slightest thing could set me off. As far as like something that consistently
Is it always
does
physical
it.
or is it a behavior? Like, is it just you witness me visually and that's where your mind goes? Or is it...
I just feel like I'm kind of always into you, but that is a cop-out answer, and so
Yeah.
I won't say that. I love it when you touch me excessively, and I'm not saying in like a sexual way or anything, but like when you get handsy with me or want to hug me or kiss me or something like that more than just our normal interactions. which we hug and kiss a lot. I feel like we do that. But like,
Pretty healthy, yeah.
if you hold on to me a little bit, and I'm like, why is this chick holding on to me? I love that stuff. I love physical contact. I love prolonged attention and physical connection. That's like totally at my wheelhouse.
Mine is probably when you show direct like correlation and intention to something I've brought up in the past, if that makes sense.
So hot.
Yeah, I mean, women are just different. Like it's all in the mind for me. So to me, when I see depth and progression through just like connections that you make or intention that you bring to a particular situation, I feel like that's what makes me attracted to you. I feel like I had one very recently. I know the feeling, but not the situation on the spot.
Was it during our meeting this week?
Oh.
What? It was, wasn't
I remember it was.
Yeah.
It was you allowing yourself to admit you want to conceive kids naturally.
That did it? Mm-hmm. I want to conceive kids naturally.
Because I think you, and I'll tell you why, is because it has been something that I have gone back and forth on with, talking through, like ethically, I think adopting is a fabulous method of
we both agree with that,
starting a family or adding to your family. So I don't question that, but also I guess my entire life I always pictured if I had kids, I would conceive them. And so frankly, although open and welcoming to the idea of adopting, and it's not off the table whatsoever, the idea that you were even open to it and watching your mindset evolve through openness and hope was a big turn on for me.
Do you think it's more like a vulnerability thing? Like me being vulnerable is a turn on?
Yes, but with signs of growth, because you can be vulnerable and be sloppy, and that's not a turn on.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the raw, like, snot crying.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying.
You're telling me that doesn't get you going?
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying the, like, intellectual connections that lead you to, like, genuine hope and clarity and growth is a big turn on for me.
That makes sense. It's a little offensive.
Why? You do those things a lot, though. I feel like you always have revelations and things that make me attracted to you. Like, I'm talking about those things are turn-ons.
Yeah.
I
guess, like, what's the... And maybe I don't... God, I feel like I sound like a loser by, like, dwelling on this too much. But, like, I'm just curious, like, what is your feeling when I do that? Because my reaction of why I say, like, oh, that's a little embarrassing to hear is that, like, I'm just this dumb guy who's getting smarter. And as I get smarter, you're like, oh, I'm finally married to a man who's actually smart. As he gets smarter, I become more attracted to him. So I don't know. What do you feel?
Well, I have to be more honest and embrace who I am as a human. And I think the human I am is attracted to change. And when I see change and growth in people I love, I am attracted to that. And I don't mean, again, we weren't taking it from the sexual way, but in the like mind, body, spirit attraction type way. So because I'm someone who welcomes and loves the feeling of change and growth, when I see that, that's what I'm attracted to. When I see it and feel it, that's what I'm attracted to. Yeah. But you are always growing and changing, and so I'm always attracted to you. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you. I mean, I can't say I don't feel similarly. As far as a turn on, I don't know if I would go so far as to say that, but I do like that with you. It makes me feel close to you. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, and I just think... I don't know if it's, I don't want to generalize and say it's a male-female thing, but I would guess that a lot of ladies would agree with me that a lot of the time it's a mind game to get, if we're talking the sexual route, arousal for women. Yeah. it all comes from this feeling of safety and protection and like solid anchored behavior from your partner.
Reassurance and stuff.
Yeah. And then the feeling of being wanted on top of that, you know what I mean, is there. But for men, it feels like a little bit.
I think it's different before we go into that. For me specifically, when you hug me prolongedly or kiss me a little bit more than I'm used to, it's the same feeling of like wanting, and like I feel wanted, and it makes me feel very connected to you and very into you.
Yeah.
So, turned on, some might say. Anyway.
But I think that's what makes our relationship magical, is that I think if we both had the same triggers for attraction, we'd never stop making motion in the ocean. So I like our level of attraction. I think it's healthy.
I think it's healthy too. And I know that after this, I'm going to do everything new in my life. I'm going to change the sheets. I'm going to change my clothes.
You know I like that.
I know you do. I know. I'm going to do
change.
the laundry. I'm going to change my clothes.
You have shorter hair. I'm
That
just
light
saying.
bulb need changing?
It would work.
Do you want to do your... Oh, that's a visual joke. We can't do that.
Yeah.
Whenever we do the you wanna...
Do you wanna...
We do that to Vito, and his
Who is
cute
our
little
pug.
his ear perks up and his head twists, and he's so adorable.
Like, yeah, I wanna. Yeah, I wanna.
If you follow us on Instagram, every photo of Vito the pug, we are doing
His
do you
post,
wanna...
do you wanna.
Yeah, and he's being cute.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Okay, so I have a Reddit question.
Oh, is
So-
this like something we would provide commentary on, or is it like an actual question?
It's both.
Interesting. I have something similar. Okay.
Cool.
Go
So
ahead.
this is a little bit of a story that I have to read. So prepare thyself.
Thy is prepared.
I, 29 female, want to keep the dog after a breakup with my ex-boyfriend, 29 male, after cheating.
Yikes.
Hi all, I'm sure some of you have been in this situation. Me and my partner of 3 years bought a dog together. When we adopted the dog, the relationship was going well. We lived in my home together. I found out in November of 2023 that he was cheating. I even gave a chance to sit down and talk about it, and he blew that chance as well. As of now, he has lost a lot of friends, etc., from cheating, as our friend groups were really intertwined. He also barely has any family for support. To try to be fair, I've been okay with sharing the dog, but I can see now that it's not feasible for 15 plus years, especially if other relationships arise. I was the one who found the dog, connected with the breeder. All the vet and grooming documents are under my name, and the dog was brought into my home and raised here. I also have done all the training, etc. Now for the hard part. He has nothing but this dog, and I have a hard time just cutting that off. But at the same time, I do not want to lose her due to his crappy mistakes, and I will not give her up. I do feel that sharing isn't feasible long-term approach. Any advice or personal experience?
Bro.
Yeah.
I mean, just replace dog with kid, and that's
I'm
like...
taking the dog, dumbass.
You nailed that.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
That was for you, Jennifer Coolidge.
I'm flabbergasted. That's a soundbite if I've ever
Really?
heard one. Yeah, I
That
was
just
in awe.
came from my spirit.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
I found a new turn on.
Thank you. My Jennifer Coolidge impression.
I'm taking the dog. I can't even do it.
Taking the dog.
Oh, don't stop.
Yeah.
I forgot the question.
So basically, they're 27 and 29. They were together for 3 years. They were in a good place when they
Only
adopted
3
the dog.
years?
Yeah.
How old's the dog?
Must be about 3. 2 or 3. Sounds like the girl coordinated all the logistical things and training to have the dog, and the dog was raised in her place that she's keeping. Boyfriend cheated on her. What she's saying is he doesn't really have any friends or family left.
Yeah.
And she is worried he might KMS or something if he's totally alone. And she doesn't want to just like rip all of his friends
Yeah.
and his dog away from him just
Yeah.
because they're breaking up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's very kind of her to consider, not taking everything from him. I feel like a lot of people would be more spiteful and just do that. But, that's a sticky situation. I mean, I feel like I said at the beginning, like replace dog with kid, and that's a lot of people's like reality, of just like a lot of the time the legal system would just require you to share custody, but in this case it's a puppy.
Yeah.
And it sounds like she more or less had the puppy first and like took care of the whole thing, and might have even gone so far as to like purchase it or get it, right?
Yeah, I have an answer. I feel like I think because they're not married, that she should just keep the dog, honestly.
Oh, they weren't married?
No, they're just dating, boyfriend, girlfriend for 3 years.
Then no.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But I think her reason is like she's acknowledging that she knows that guy well enough to know he's not doing well.
Yeah.
But also like, how are you going to learn your lesson from your decision of your own choice, which was to cheat on your partner?
No, that does make it a lot easier. Boyfriend, girlfriend. No, it's her dog, bro. Like maybe you guys got it together, but
if she did everything to facilitate it and you were the cheater, like
I mean, if you really wanted to elevate it, like
Cheaters
whose name
can't be
is on
choosers.
the thing, I guess
she said her name was on all the paperwork.
then it's her dog, dude.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what to tell you.
Cheaters can't be choosers.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can still have doggy play dates if you want to.
If you
but she
want
said
to.
it wasn't like a long-term thing, or like she doesn't think it would be sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also kind of not fair to the dog, but
Yeah. This is a good lesson for when she does eventually end up in a marriage or whatever, is like, think about the children. Think about the child.
no kidding. Yeah.
Maybe
Don't get with no cheater.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. That's not her fault though. If he
No,
cheated on her.
I feel like that would have been a more nuanced question, but if they're boyfriend and girlfriend, I mean, it's just, the commitment's not really there.
Yeah.
It's,
Yep. Clearly it's not because he cheated on her.
Could we make it a little bit more spicy and ask if a boyfriend girlfriend had a kid? No, it would always be shared custody.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Legally, it's
legally it would
much
be
different.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that answers that one.
It does.
Time to move on to the next question.
What you got?
Well, it's funny because I did kind of a Reddit question too that I thought was interesting. I'm interested to get your feedback on this. So here we go. I'm not sure if I'm overreacting, so I would love another woman's opinion. My fiance, 34 male, and I, 33 male, are talking about work friendships. I brought up to him that I noticed that he tends to befriend younger, attractive females in his office, ages 22 to 24 normally. And it didn't make me super comfortable. His response was that those are just the type of people he connects with, and it just so happens that they are female and that he doesn't see age. I responded with, so if you befriended somebody and found out that they were 18, that would be weird for you, right? And he said, no, and that he focused more on maturity once again and doesn't see age. The whole thing gave me the ick, and I don't know if I'm just overreacting. What are your thoughts?
So what was the first sentence? Like, I wonder if other girls are asking. What's the first sentence? The first line of the story?
She would just love to hear another woman's opinion about her
Is it a
fiance's
she?
behavior.
It's two men, isn't it?
No, she.
She? Okay.
She would like to hear other women's opinions
I thought it was
about
a
her
gay
boyfriend
couple. I was
who
like, well,
befriends younger women
okay.
at work.
It sounds like the qualm really is for this writer the age of the people.
Yeah.
And not the sex, but also like she is mentioning the sex a lot.
I think it was enough to bug her, but she also provided the example of like, well, if you befriended somebody that you figured out was 18, would that be weird for you? And he said no. Mm-hmm. Is that weird? If he's 35 or 34?
Oh, God. Yeah, I get. Oh.
He's 34,
Yeah,
and he's
that's
constantly
weird.
befriending
That's weird.
women who are
Yes,
22
sorry.
to 24.
Okay, so there are lots of factors that really matter in this. Like, I was actually thinking about this the other day because we've become pretty close with a couple who's like a couple of years younger than us.
Yeah.
They're like in their mid 20s and we're in our late 20s, which isn't that big of a difference. So anyway, that difference doesn't make a big deal. But like when you're in high school, if there's like a 3 or 4 year age gap, they're like light years away from you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That always seems to, be
But
the case.
if someone was 18 and you're 35, yeah, that's weird. You're not hanging out with
you guys shouldn't
18-year-olds.
be friends.
Your youngest brother is 20 or something.
Yeah,
And
so
he seems like a no, he seems like a baby
Who
child.
even likes that guy?
Yeah, well, he's a baby child adult, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
no offense to that, just different wavelengths. Like they come off as younger
Mm-hmm.
in so many ways, and in the best ways, in the fun ways for them. But yeah, I think that's really weird, and
You think it's creepy?
it just depends on the guy. But my intuition is like, girl, if you're questioning it, you're probably right.
Well,
I'm not gonna lie. 'Cause
what's your response to his defense, which is that he doesn't see age and that he just
He's
likes what he
lying.
likes?
he's lying
And why?
because he can see age. Because everyone can see age. And he's like that basically that response means I would like you to not ask me questions about this anymore, please. That
Yeah.
does not mean I don't see age. It means
It does seem kind of like a drowning man looking for a quick life raft.
Yes.
It's kind of like a lame excuse.
and like you, for example, as a man, as my husband,
me.
who is 28
Yep.
now, if you said that to me, I would be suspect of you.
But I feel like it's real in my case. So I agree with everything that you've said so far.
Did you ask this because you have majority girl friends?
Well, I guess, and that's why I thought it would be interesting. But at the same time, I think this age thing plays a different kind of role into it, which is like when I was in my earlier 20s, say like 24, and what I think this guy is failing to see that if he had friends, if he had all age group friends, right? Like he doesn't see age, he would have friends that were 22. He would have friends that were in their 80s. He would have friends that were in their 40s. But it seems like he's only befriending girls who are in their 20s.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the deep down thing is that he very obviously likes the attention that he's getting from these young women. And if he was being honest with himself, that he would have more friends of a diverse age group.
And
gender.
sexual and gender and
Yeah.
orientation and all
And
the
so
things.
when you made the comparison to me, I was totally prepared for that because I was like, oh man, like I guess when I used to work at other things, like I had a few friends who
were
were
girls.
girls, who were younger.
But also older, like significantly
But also,
older.
like, yeah, like one of my best friends was also like in her 40s and had 2 kids, and she was lovely.
Yeah.
We hung out all the time. It was
Yeah.
great. And so I was like, oh no, that's like, this guy's lying.
Yeah, no.
It is a little weird.
I just feel like if you are suspicious of him enough to write a Reddit question,
Yeah.
you know the answer.
Yeah.
And if he's not giving it to you, you still know the answer and you need to move on.
I think I'd like to give the guy the benefit of the doubt.
No.
And just hear me out.
No.
Say that he doesn't even realize that he likes the attention. And if he kind of like won't admit it to himself because
Right.
he doesn't want to feel creepy. And so if he does, and if he was being honest, I think he would say that he likes the attention. But ultimately, he's just kind of like, defense, like throw your thoughts in other directions as like a defense mechanism because he just like doesn't really know how to make friends. And these girls are kind of like easy prey, which again is creepy, but like it's just the path of least resistance. So I don't know.
That's what I would call out to him. Like that's the type of partner I am, I guess, is that
yeah, like I do wish he
I
would
would
admit
cut it
you
to
know?
him straight. I would be like, listen, it seems like you're attention seeking from these young women. It's
Mm-hmm.
making me violently uncomfortable. I had to go to the internet to seek advice because I was so confused and perturbed.
Yeah, and by the way, everyone on this Reddit post fucking roasted him.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 18 is a baby child. Like that is a goo goo gaga.
Oh my God, I know. I see people in
To
their
put this
early
into
20s
perspective,
now, and I'm like,
yes,
you're a baby.
They haven't even gone to college yet.
Yeah. Well, not
Ew.
everyone goes to college, but
Well,
they're like fresh out of high school.
Their corsage from prom hasn't wilted.
That's probably true. That is
It's
probably true. Yeah. I think the biggest thing is like if his defense was real, you would have a diverse group of friends. But if it's just the young women, it's because they give you something that you don't
Listen.
get from anybody else. And that's attention
I'm
and
gonna-
approval and all the other things that you feel insecure about.
I understand that what you're doing is answering the question as she asked it, and that is typically what I would do. Mm-hmm. But tonight I'm in the mood to answer it like I would as a human being who didn't just read that on the internet.
You're going to body this fool?
Yes. The fact of the matter is, girlfriend, you also need the cojones in your own relationship to call out BS in a emboldened, confident way to your partner. And if you guys do not have the foundation to have these vulnerable conversations, buckle up. Like, you don't have, listen, you know me, you don't have to be mean.
Yeah.
You need to be direct. Like, you can't mess with stuff like this because if you do, then all of a sudden you're married. Are they married or are they dating?
Boyfriend, girlfriend.
All of a sudden you're married. You have a financial and legal contract binding you with some creepazoid where they either at very least have attention issues and at very worst are actual creepazoids.
Yeah.
Pedos.
Yeah.
Creepazoids.
It does divulge into like
Yes.
following each other on Instagram
Yes.
and like it's a
Ick.
slippery slope.
Yeah. And so the fact of the matter is, get off the internet, call him out.
Yeah.
As politely as you can, but as direct as you can. Use a lot of I statements to say, I feel this way. I feel when you say this, this is how I feel. When you say this, this is how I feel. Can you help me understand where this is coming from? Until you pick his measly little excuse down to the bones and it shows itself. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I think that was a reasonable hot take. All I will say, not in defense of anybody, but it seems like both parties are a little incapable of being honest with themselves. One is going to the internet to confirm what they already know.
Yeah.
And the other is making up excuses because he doesn't want to face how much of a weirdo he's become because he won't let himself grow socially.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ka-chow.
Lightning McQueen, everybody. I think that wraps it up for this episode. What do you think? You have any last minute thoughts or prayers for the folks?
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
For all y'alls. I'm only being awkward because I don't pray, so I don't have any prayers for
No,
anybody.
I know. I'm just throw along in it.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. Okay, we need to stop. Anyway, well, join us next week for another episode of Juice Bag, folks. We'll be going over something. We'll figure it out. But for the meantime, we're going to go enjoy the rest of our 9.2 and 9.1 day, dude. It's a little late, but I'm still going to go have me some fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, guess what?
What?
I love you.
I love you too.
And I love you, folks. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Juice Bag. Were you surprised by what we said? We were. Oh no, is this on the internet forever? Oh God.
Can't take it off the internet. Hope we don't do this again next week.
Ooh, what if we did this again next week?
Maybe it could be like a thing. Who knows?
See you next time.
Tune in next time to find out.
Or not.
Bye.